At my daughter's birthday party, my mother-in-law announced, "This is why we prayed my son would marry his ex. She could have given us grandchildren who weren't developmentally delayed." My daughter has autism. She was standing right there, happy stimming about her dinosaur cake. I took Lily's hand, walked to my car, and said, "Grandma's right, sweetie. We don't belong here." My father-in-law Richard laughed and added, "At least now you can stop pretending the kid's normal. Special ed exists for a reason." Connor just stood there, didn't defend our daughter, didn't stop me from leaving. Texted me later, "You know how they are. Come back and let's just get through dinner." I didn't go back. Instead, I called my lawyer cousin, who specialized in family court. Week 1, Grace started calling Connor, crying. She'd been telling everyone at her church that Lily was healed by prayer and perfectly neurotypical. She'd been fundraising for a miracle child ministry based on Lily's supposed recovery. Without recent photos or videos to maintain the lie, people were asking questions. What she didn't know was that I'd been documenting her fraud for months. She'd raised $30,000 claiming God had cured Lily's autism through her intercession. The church ladies thought they were supporting a healing ministry. They were actually funding Grace's kitchen renovation. Week 2, Richard's employer called him in for a meeting. Someone had sent them screenshots of his social media posts using the R word about his granddaughter, mocking special needs children, and suggesting defective kids should be institutionalized. That someone was me. His employer, a healthcare company that specifically served neurodivergent children, was not amused. Connor finally visited to see Lily. He brought Grace without asking. She walked in saying, "Let's stop this nonsense. Admit you're overwhelmed with your defective child and need our help." Lily heard everything. She asked, "Am I defective, Mommy?" "No, baby. You're perfect. Grandma's brain is defective." Grace threatened grandparents' rights, said she'd prove I was an unfit mother who couldn't accept my child's limitations. She'd already filed paperwork claiming I was medically neglecting Lily by not trying her prayer healing methods. In month 2, the IRS entered the conversation. The Miracle Child Ministry wasn't registered as a charity. The $30,000 was taxable income Grace hadn't reported. The renovation receipts she'd submitted to the church as ministry expenses were fraudulent. Richard got fired after more posts surfaced, including one where he'd secretly photographed a disabled child at the mall to mock on his private Facebook group called Genetic Failures. The child's mother was a prominent disability rights attorney. She recognized her son. But here's what really destroyed them. Lily wasn't delayed at all. She was actually gifted. Her autism came with hyperlexia. She'd been reading since 18 months old. She could solve complex puzzles meant for 10-year-olds. Her strange behavior, Grace mocked, was her reciting entire encyclopedia entries about dinosaurs from memory. I'd had her tested privately. IQ of 147. The psychologist said she was extraordinary. Week 6, Connor filed for divorce. Not from me, I'd already filed, but from his parents. Adult adoption termination papers. He wanted legal documentation that they weren't his family anymore. The lawyer said it wasn't necessary. Connor said, "I need them to know it's forever." Grace's church held a tribunal. Multiple families came forward saying she'd convinced them not to seek therapy for their autistic children, to try prayer healing instead. One child had regressed severely without early intervention. Another had self-harmed during her prayer sessions, where she'd physically restrain him to cast out demons. The district attorney charged her with practicing medicine without a license and child endangerment. Richard, unemployed and facing his own charges from the mall incident, tried to apologize. Showed up with a teddy bear for Lily. She looked at him and said, "I don't want presents from people who think I'm defective. My therapist says I don't have to accept fake apologies." Full sentences. Perfect memory of everything they'd ever said about her. The custody hearing was brief. Connor supported my full custody, testified that his parents had called our daughter God's mistake, and suggested we have another child to replace the broken one. The judge banned them from any contact. Last week, Grace sent a letter through her public defender. She's facing 3 to 5 years for fraud and child endangerment. Wants me to bring Lily to visit her in jail. Says she's had a revelation from God about accepting all his children. I sent back a photo of Lily at her mainstream preschool, reading a chemistry textbook to her neurotypical classmates who hung on every word. Richard lives in his car now. Parks outside the church where Grace used to preach about healing, begging former congregation members for money. Connor sees Lily supervised, working to earn back trust. He's in therapy learning how his parents' ableism shaped him. Lily? She's thriving. Reads medical journals for fun. Asks daily if we can get more books about genetics because I want to understand why grandma's brain couldn't understand mine. I tell her some puzzles aren't worth solving.